Mangwanani Mwalelepo Vukenjani Vanabe Africa. Welcome to your favorite current affairs show that keeps you abreast with the latest happening around our continent. My name is Aina Raizakoya alongside Diana Master Mumkase.
Tamuka Mumkase.
I Tamuka. I forgot.
You just say yeah.
You know what I wanted to say? I wanted to say Shiri say
yes.
Oh, I could have said that.
Say. Yeah, and then we just move
Come
on.
through with this Shona.
It's a whole Shona woman.
Masterclass.
I love that. Now let's get into what you can expect in today's broadcast. Some of the Shakahola cult victims had their organs missing. Sudan maternity hospital fights to save lives under fire. In Nigeria, protesters storm court as legal challenge opens against presidential election results. We're also going to be chatting to Ari Holhard all the way in Cape Town, and he'll fill us in on the news making waves that side. Stick around, we'll be back with our top stories right after this.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
This morning we start off with some sad news. Some of the Shakahola cult victims had their organs missing. Some of the victims of the Shakahola massacre have been found with missing body organs. Fresh documents filed in court indicate that the victims may have had their organs harvested before they were buried in mass graves. Post-mortem reports have established missing organs in some of the bodies of the victims so far, exhumed Chief Inspector Martin Munene said in an application. Police are seeking to link alleged cult leader Paul Mackenzie to human organ harvesting and trafficking. Munene said many of Mackenzie's followers are missing and are suspected to have died mysteriously. The investigator also said that the process of identifying the victim through DNA profiling is still being done since post-mortem process has not been completed.
Moving over, Sudan maternity hospital fights to save lives under fire. When a maternity hospital in Sudanese capital came under bombardment, Esra Hezbollah snatched her premature twins from an incubator and rushed out in a panic. In the chaos, only one of her infants survived. Hezbollah now tends to her baby in a small hospital in the capital's twin city of Omdurman that for weeks has struggled to weather the near-ceaseless fighting. Numerous medical facilities have been shelled in the fighting that broke out on April 15 between rival generals and the forces they command. The battles have left only 16% of hospitals in Khartoum fully functional, according to the United Nations, putting countless lives at risk. But the small Al-Nada hospital in Khartoum's twin city of Omdurman remains a lifesaver, keeping its doors open to offer vital health care despite the mounting odds. When strikes shook the ground on April 20th around the facility initially caring for the twins, we were told we had to evacuate everyone right away. Hezbollah told AFP.
In Nigeria, protesters storm court as legal challenge opens against a presidential election result. A number of protesters stormed the appeal court in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, on Monday to express their concern about the outcome of the election result, but were restrained from gaining entrance to the court by security operatives. As the country grapples with widespread insecurity, economic problems, and growing poverty, many Nigerians had hoped the presidential ballot would bring about change, but many were disappointed by the way the election was conducted. On Monday, a panel of 5 Nigerian judges set for a pre-hearing session in the trial involving opposition leader contesting in February election won by the ruling party. Since Nigeria returned to democracy in 1999 after 3 decades of military rule, election have always ended up in court, though no challenge has ever been overturned. Now, petition contesting the victory of Bola Tinubu were filed in March by several presidential candidates, including the main opposition leader Atiku Abubakar, who came second, and outsider Peter Obi, who was third runner-up.
Malawi court orders schools to allow dreadlocks. A high court in Malawi has ordered education authorities to admit learners with dreadlocks in public schools across the country. The court, sitting in the eastern city of Zomba, was ruling on a petition brought by 2 Rastafarian children who were refused admission in public schools in 2016 and 2010. The 2 learners have, however, been attending school after they obtained a court injunction. Talks between the Rastafarian community in Malawi and the country's Attorney General to settle the matter have failed, resulting in a prolonged legal suit whose determination was made on Monday. Judge Zione Ntaba ruled that barring children with dreadlocks from attending school was a breach of their right to education. The Ministry of Education should issue a statement to allow all children of the Rastafarian community with dreadlocks to be allowed in class. The circular should be done by the 30th of June. Justice Ntaba ordered. The case was filed by 3 human rights organizations on behalf of the Rastafarian community in the country.
In our next story, a Danish oil tanker crew kidnapped of West Africa is rescued. Now, 6 crew members kidnapped by pirates last month from a Danish oil tanker of Congo have been rescued from Nigeria, the ship's owner said on Monday. The Liberian flagged Mosanja Reformer had 16 sailors on board when it was attacked by pirates on the 25th of March. Despite being owned by a Danish company, none of the crew members were Danish. When a 135-meter-long tanker was found by the French Navy the following off the coast of Sao Tome the Principe in the Gulf of Guinea, the remaining crew said 6 of their colleagues had been kidnapped. Now, all 6 crew members who were kidnapped from the oil tanker Mojasa Reformer are now safely recovered from an undisclosed location in Nigeria, Monjasa said.
That brings us to the end of our top stories. We'll be back with news from South Africa with Ari Hochad. Stay tuned.
To another exciting episode of Irongo Top. We bring jou die weer en vertel ook vir julle waar die vis julle monster kan byt.
We now cross over to South Africa to speak to Ari Hochad, who's going to give us the latest news on the ground. Good morning, Ari.
Well, it's and Aina, yes.
Well, Ari, you did mention earlier that you are having load shedding, which ironically is one of your top stories. We'll now take a quick ad break and see if we can try again after the break.
Good evening and welcome to Sunset News.
Dutch stays in list A in the speech, rate and taxes, and how much.
After the break, we take a look at the sports.
We bring you
economic indicators, tomorrow's weather, and sports. I am Aina Raiza Kweyong.
Let's take a look at the weather forecast before we try to reconnect with Ari Hochad.
Our colleague Glenna Rashipura talks to Robin Sergesen, the owner of OVC franchise, about gap years and working opportunities abroad. Let's have a look.
We are joined in studio by Robin Sergesen, a franchise owner, the OVC franchise owner, here to tell us more about the OVC brand. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me today.
It's awesome. It's always a pleasure to have you. Now, can we get into the first question? Can you tell us more about OVC and what you offer?
Perfect. Yes. So OVC specialize in gap years and essentially youth travel, opening up doors for young people that are leaving high school and university that are ready to travel the world, who want to see, things outside of their home country in a safe way, So we offer a planned and structured gap year. We have been around since the 1950s. I've worked in my organization for almost 20 years now, sending people on a gap year like I did. So we really specialize and tailor gap years for youngsters and hoping we can help the citizens of Namibia to travel the world.
Well, I wish I had known about this when I was in grade 12, and because I feel like this offers a broader perspective for most students. Getting into our next question, why is it important to offer these services, especially to school leavers and young people?
Yeah, it really does broaden your mind. Often if you are never able to travel out of your country and mix with different cultures and people from around the world, you can sort of have those little blinkers on. And we like to call our gap years the chance to participate and study in the University of Life. It's an opportunity to really grow and become more independent and to just become a better you. My gap year really opened doors for myself. I am a franchisee now because of my gap year that I did, owning a business. And we really hope to see that gap years can change your life, whether it be traveling through multiple countries, whether it be going to a country and bringing back that culture and starting your own adventure or venture on a business scale or going into studies or anything back home. We hope that your gap year changes you in terms of that and offers a better future for you in the long term.
Awesome. Now, can we get into some of what would be offered? Let's say if I was a grade 12 student coming to you, what are my options? What would I be looking at? Is it au pair work? Is it just travel? Is it studying and working? Can we get into a little bit of the services?
Yes, we can definitely. So, a very popular school leaver program would be our au pair programs. One that I did as a school leaver. We have au pairing in America and Europe, and also a nice fun one for school leavers is our summer camp program, which is a shorter sort of program over the American summer, very popular. So those are nice for the school leavers. We do have for university graduates doing hospitality and agriculture internships as well for the US, where they can actually go and get international experience as well. And strangely enough, we always focus on the school leaver and the varsity leaver. However, we do have English teaching abroad, and I'm seeing a very big trend in Namibia of people that are wanting to, from the ages of 20 up to 40, and even a little bit older than that, wanting to actually go teach English overseas. So we can help Namibians to teach English in Cambodia as well as Japan. And we also do have, going on to more the study side of it, studying in the UK and New Zealand with a variety of different courses, which will give you great international accreditation, opportunities for onward work and possibly life in the UK and New Zealand. So we have the more just the gap year work option, or we also have the option of some educational side of things as well.
Wow, this is really exciting, and it's not only limited to just school students. Anybody can partake in this.
Yeah, and a lot of people are like yourself. Oh, why didn't I hear about this when I was 20 or whatever, you know? So as the world is becoming more open and people are able to travel, especially post-COVID, a lot of people are quite adventurous, you know, they want to get out and they want to see things. So you don't have to be a school leaver or a varsity leaver. You don't have to have a degree or necessarily any specific qualifications or work experience. That is what a gap year is. It's just that chance to go and do something different, to travel, to have fun, maybe make some money, make new friends. So if you're curious, don't think you're too old. Ask us, and if we have something, we'll help you.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
In our economic news this morning, we start with the land of Diana Master. Australia firm finds gas oil in Zimbabwe. Now, Australia oil and gas firm Invictus Energy announced Monday it has found light oil and gas and helium in remote northeast Zimbabwe, a culmination of months of exploration. Now, analysis of samples from its remote sites near the border with Mozambique confirmed the presence of light oil, gas, condensate and helium. Now, it said in a statement, the result definitively proves the presence of hydrocarbons in multiple reservoir pay zones at one of the wells. It said analyzed samples demonstrate a consistent high-quality natural gas composition exhibiting low inert content containing less than 1% carbon dioxide.
Moving over, Botswana hit by electricity blackout. Botswana was hit by a nationwide electricity blackout shortly after midnight following a grid disturbance, the state's power utility has said on Twitter. Botswana Power Corporation said it was investigating the cause of the grid disturbance. It led to an outage at 2 power plants and a transmission power line that connects the country to neighboring South Africa, BPC said. We are currently restarting both our power generation plants. BPC added load shedding, meaning rotating power cuts, has been introduced in the meantime. Botswana had occasional power cuts last year for the first time since 2015, according to South Africa's News 24 website.
Let's take a look at our economic indicators.
We may have failed to connect to Ari Holgad earlier, but here he is with the sports package.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news and looking at the English Premier League. That is results from 3 games played. Just a few games left in the English Premier League and there's a big fight for the relegation or to avoid relegation. 3 teams going down from the 20 teams that fall out of the English Premier League at the end of the season. All 3 games had impact on this at the bottom 3. It was firstly Everton that had a brilliant win. They beat Brighton away from home, so they won the game at Brighton by 5-1, and that put them took them away from the bottom three. Then also Nottingham Forest, they were second last before this game. They beat Southampton, that's at the bottom of the log. They beat them by 4-3, and they're not a good result for Leicester City. They're back in the bottom three. They lost to Fulham, and the score there was 5-3. At the moment, in 16th position, it's Nottingham Forest on 33 points, 32 points for Everton in 17th. Then the bottom three at the moment is Leicester City, 30 points, Leeds 30 points, and Southampton 24 points. Next game's coming up for Leeds is they're playing at home. Difficult game against Newcastle. Also very tough game for Everton, playing at home against Manchester City. That's all this weekend. And then also Leicester City, tough game. They're playing at home against Liverpool. All three of these games will have a big impact on what happens in the relegation zone. Continuing international sports news with cycling news, the Giro d'Italia continued. It was round 3 or stage 3 that was concluded. Tough day for all the cyclists. It was raining. It was 213 kilometers. In the end, it was Australian Michael Matthews that won. It was an uphill sprint, or the sprint to the end was on an uphill, and he won it in a time of 5 hours, 1 minute and 41 seconds. It was a tight sprint to the end. He just beat Mats Peterson into second position and Caden Groves into third position. It was the first win ever for Michael Matthews in 8 years of cycling in the Giro d'Italia. The general classifications at the moment, still Remco Evenepoel that is leading. He's leading by 32 seconds over João Almeida, and in third position at the moment is Primož Roglič. He's 44 seconds behind Remco Evenepoel. And Michael Matthews, besides his win, or because of his win, he's now up in 8th position, but he's still 1 minute and 8 seconds behind Remco Evenepoel. Continuing international sports news with Formula 1 racing news. There's no Formula 1 race this coming weekend. The next one will be on the 21st of May in 2 weeks' time. That will be the Emilio Romagno Grand Prix that is in Imola in Italy. But news from the Formula 1 is related to Ferrari. It is Ferrari racer Charles Leclerc that said that Ferrari currently is struggling like crazy. So a big statement that he's making. Charles Leclerc was 7th in Miami the past weekend, and his teammate Carlos Sainz was 5th. Carlos Sainz started 3rd on the grid. It was Charles Leclerc said that the car is not competitive over the length of the race. It is very competitive in one lap qualifying, but not in the whole of the race. He said that he experiences understeer, also oversteering, and that also it's very sensitive when it's windy. So that is some of the comments coming in from Charles Leclerc of Ferrari. In closing today's international sports news with rugby news, it is Scotland rugby team, that rugby union, that announced that Gregor Townsend, their coach, agreed to be the coach up till 2026. He agreed to a contract extension. The 50-year-old Gregor Townsend's been the coach of Scotland since 2017. This year they had a good season in the Six Nations. They finished 3rd in the Six Nations, and a tough World Cup coming up for them. They in Group A, and in Group A they will face also South Africa, the defending champions, and Ireland, and just 2 of those 3 teams will be able to go through to the quarterfinals. That's the international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we talk again tomorrow. Goodbye.
Now let's take a look at the highlights from today's broadcast. Some of the Shakahola cult victims had their organs missing. Sudan Maternity Hospital fights to save lives under fire. Australian firm finds gas oil in Zimbabwe.
Those have been our stories. We thank you very much for watching our show on this Wednesday morning. Now, please be reminded that we welcome your remarks regarding our show. You can post them on our Twitter and Facebook pages. This particular show screens on DSTV channel 285 as well as GoTV channel 25. On that note, it's all our love, all our light, and we wish you a brilliant day ahead.